over something. One of the questions you asked, the first question you asked was winning easy. For me, it was because I didn't want to do that extra practice. You know, as long as we won, he didn't beat us to death. So to answer that one, and then I wanted to I can't give enough credit to the women. They didn't just help out. They were instrumental. And Rita Gail Ragsdale, now here Mrs. Ragsdale's daughter, they sold enough donuts to own a franchise. Because see, we had to practice. We had to practice and practice and practice. And while we were doing that, they were out collecting money. And they were the ones that put us in our first uniforms.
And what made y'all feel like that? Like, what was the...
I'm going to add this first. The difference between down there and back then, we were obedient. And Ms. Reza told me to do something, I did it. I'm not going to finish it. You're not my mama. Oh, no. Because I got beat by her and beat by my mother. But
Right.
back then, it was kids. But I'm just saying, the neighborhood took care of us. So they made sure that we were obedient. And that's the biggest thing. You know, I'm going to go tell my mama. I couldn't go tell my mama.
Right.
Because she was my mother.
Right.
So that was one thing, is that we were all obedient children. Y'all might not be, but I said back then. And the other thing, the reason why we did let me say something. We cleaned a whole field with trees and what?
Bricks,
Bricks
rocks,
and
boulders.
About we, I mean the lady.
We had to create the field
Yeah,
for
we had
them to
created the
practice
field. Wow.
on. It was really a forest. And when Larry decided he was gonna start the team, well, where you gonna practice? Ain't no place to practice. This is an apartment complex.
Wow.
You know, and back then, apartments was not designed to have play areas and green space. But once Larry got the guys together and they decided to do it, then it became a community project. All right, what can we do? Everybody, parents went to different people's saws, wheelbarrows, and we literally cleaned the field large enough to be able to have home base, first, second, third, and backfield with everybody's raw hands.
Wow.
But that shows you again, community involvement, and I think that's really what helped the team, is seeing from inception to end. Everybody was involved. Everybody had each other's back.
So true.
You know, it wasn't you did, I know, we did. And there was no arguing. That was the thing about it. I mean, whatever needed to be done, it was one accord. Hey, it was, well, how are we gonna do it? There was no question it would get done.
Right.
It was, what are our options? Choose the best option, put it in motion.
And to add to what she's saying, about community involvement, we did have community involvement.
Oh, yeah.
We got the churches involved. The first set of uniforms we bought were paid for by different stores, different churches in the community.
First
I can remember.
Baptist Church.
What was in the back of your shirt?
First Corinthians. QB Williams.
First,
Real
now
Estate.
that was my church. First Community Baptist Church, Baltimore. We had uniforms with different names on the back. And those names represented Miss Rogers. See, Miss Rogers had a flourish coming up at Chapel Road. She bought 3 uniforms. Corinth Baptist, they bought 3.
We was
Then
doing
there was
endorsements before endorsements got fired.
Do y'all remember Slack City?
That's what's up.
Frankie, do y'all remember Slack City down at Ashby Street?
Yes. Yes.
They bought a couple of uniforms. And so we had really people in the community. When I went to them, the uniforms were about maybe $10, $12 for a complete set. And I would go to them and I'd say, look, man, we'll put your name on the back and you're a sponsor. And that's how we got going. We had community really got involved. My pastor, First Corinth, I think they bought 3. And I'm not we had the Rainbow Inn or Split Kids.
Rainbow Inn was there.
Rainbow Inn, see, that was a drive-in there
That was all possible.
on Simpson Road.
Wow. And whose idea was to get the endorsements? Like,
But
who
see,
came up with that?
I was 15 years old, I went to these guys, and they was, oh yeah, we'll help. You know, you just, all we had to do was just ask.
Right.
And then after that, I've got one sponsor, Mr. QB Williams. We were all of them at the time, but he only was early to come. The next year, he paid for all the uniforms. So it got, we really had community involvement. And plus, we just had a great bunch of kids that didn't get in trouble. And therefore, and I made sure that they didn't get in trouble.
But I think the biggest thing that made us
Well,
what we were was
they-
the time period.
yeah.
Was the time period. Time period. You're talking about a period, 61, 62, 63. Integration really had not got started. You're talking about an area, 1211 Simpson Road, the sign in front of the apartment complex, and I hope you guys get it. It said, "It's like heaven, living at 711. A huge sign as big as this. And when I say apartments, I'm not talking about like a 100 unit area. You would think more of an area where we used to call them projects was, for those that couldn't pay. Well, we've had as many, but we were not government based. But this is just to give you an idea of how many people. And believe it or not, the people, words have power, that moved into those apartments took heed that it was like heaven. Parents from day one were on one accord. We may be poor, but you're gonna be respectable, you're gonna be clean, and hopefully we can install some sort of goal to aspire to keep you out of trouble. And that's where Larry came in. That's where the community came in. Because again, with that many people, you had all type elements moving in. But the parents understood if the kids could get a common goal, they wouldn't be out there fighting.
Right.
It would be something for them to do and not get in trouble. And because of that, all the parents got behind it. The parents was behind it. Everybody was taught. You my brother. You my sister. All right. Like Larry said, that's the way it was. If you had a nickel and went and got cookies, we all got a piece. All right. So selling the donuts was not an issue.
Right.
You know, our brothers wanted to play baseball. The girls, we couldn't play, so our job was to do whatever it took to make sure they played baseball.
Just for a second. So, quick question. You got a mic in your hand, be careful not to move around too much because you're allowed to. Be very careful. And please pass the mic to whoever's speaking next to you, to my mommy. Also, I want to get one quick shot from left to right. Say your name and the position you played, whether it was donuts, or you played first base. Real quickly right now, we can start right to our left.
My name is Beverly Ragsdale Collier. I was one of the mothers. My son played. My daughter sold donuts along with my niece right here sold donuts. Our main thing was to help them because they wanted to play baseball. And in my neighborhood, our neighborhood, we had a lady that lived upstairs over us. Her name was Mama Way, and her mother was Mama Allen. And we didn't have any grass right there in front of our apartment. But every Saturday morning, those kids had to come out, pick up paper, wrappers off of chewing gum, and sweep the dirt so it'd be smooth, no tracks on the dirt. So that was teaching you to clean up around where you lived at, which we carried on today. But the main thing was togetherness, love, and something they wanted to do, which was play baseball. and my son played City of Atlanta policeman for 32 years. I had his uniform. I brought it out the attic before he passed. And when I carried it to him, his uniform, it was the second uniform they had. He couldn't believe, Mom, you kept this long? And I said, yeah, it was wrapped in plastic up in the ash. I'm gonna ask Sheila to call my daughter-in-law to see whether or not she destroyed it. He's been gone about 4 years. But I bought you a ball, a baseball. I brought it to Larry at 1 hour meeting for him to have. So I had a ball and a uniform and back again. They just wanted to play baseball. Just wanted to be a kid, just playing baseball.
Thank you. Next thing.
Right.
Next.
Oh, my name's Frankie Ragsdale, and again, I was one of the girls that supported the team with the donut sale. And believe it or not, every now and then they would let me play. That was only because I was left-handed. And it was not that many left-handed people.